Oppressed and suppressed, but still not silenced. When I demand for my right, them label me a rebel. But remember, I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Being political don't make me criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Speaking out don't make me no criminal.
I'm not a criminal. My right is my right. Express myself the way I want. My thoughts and my voice only represent my choice.
Natural.
Africa, wake up. Stand up for your rights.
Fight for your rights.
I'm a land, get up and fight for your rights. Get up, wake up. This is the time. Get up, wake up. This is the time.
Well, don't have no fear when you stand for your rights, because you have a right to defend your rights. Don't let them tell you no lies. Never compromise your rights. They could have beat and torture you in a prison. Now you go see the book whatever season. Nobody can see you if you don't stand. Nobody can hear you if you don't shout out loud. Tell them I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Being political makes me no criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Yeah, I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Oppressed and suppressed, but still not silenced. When I demand for my right, them label me a rebel. But remember, I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Being political don't make me criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Speaking out don't make me no criminal.
I'm not a criminal. My right is my right. Express myself the way I want. My thoughts and my voice only represent my choice.
Natural.
Africa, wake up. Stand up for your rights.
Fight for your rights.
I'm a land.
Today is yet another extraordinary afternoon in Uganda, where we have come to address the media in terms of where we see our country destined to. And we are privileged this afternoon that this press conference unusually is being graced by different political formations. And in these different political formations is the Forum for Democratic Change. One Uganda, one people, one Uganda. And the same effect is the JEMA that is headed by His Excellency Honorable Asman Basalirwa. We are also graced with the presence of the President and leader of PPP, Honorable Saddam Gaida. You're most welcome. We are also humbled by the presence of the Chairman of the Forum for Democratic Change, Honorable Waswa. You all know him. You're most welcome. We are equally humbled by the presence of the Lord Mayor and the Vice President of the Forum for Democratic Change. You're most welcome. We are humbled by the presence of the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform, the spokesperson of the Forum for Democratic Change, the head of mobilization NUP. We have another eminent leader, a member of us in the struggle for a very long time, an astute fellow, the Honorable Mukaku. You're most welcome. We have the Honorable Nzugu, the Deputy President of Western Uganda, Forum for Democratic Change. You're most welcome. I want now to invite our Speaker of Honorable Asman Basalirwa to take us through a prayer. You are a bit holy. I know from Kida College that you are holy, and I know that Allah, with your holiness of Kida College, will bless to upon us in these deliberations. I thank you.
Thank you very much. In honor of the Almighty, let's stand up. The Almighty God, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the opportunity to come back here. We are once again gathered here for the good of our country. We know we have individual interests. We know we have individual aspirations. But we also recognize that this country is bigger than all of us, and also recognize that Uganda is here forever. Give us wisdom and guidance as we deliberate and go through this session for the good of our country. Amen.
Because I would have been lost. I thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me straight away, in the interest of time, invite the person going to take us through the rest of this session this afternoon, and that is the very able Honorable Senator Ibrahim Nganda. You're most welcome.
The party presidents, our leaders in the different formations, the media, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for honoring our invitation. My colleague from North has given the background. We'll have a joint statement that's going to be read to you, to the country through you, and then we'll have the leaders of political parties and different formations making comments. We will not follow any order. We'll just invite them maybe the way they are seated. So I now want to invite on our behalf the Secretary General of National Unity Platform, who will read the statement. When he has completed reading of that statement, the leaders will sign that statement, and after that, the leaders of the different political parties and formations will make a few comments, and then we'll allow maybe a few questions of clarification, and then our meeting will adjourn. The president of the FDC, as you are aware, left prison yesterday, but he has asked one of the deputies, the road mayor, who will be the one signing on his behalf, on behalf of the FDC. He will also be the one making a brief comment on behalf of the FDC. I now want to invite, we'll start with the reading of the statement by the Secretary General of NO, and thereafter we'll be inviting our leaders to make comments on that statement. So, Secretary General, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, this is a joint statement of political leaders, political parties, formations against the brazen thuggery of elections in Uganda as exemplified in the by-elections of Kayunga, Omoro, and Soroti. 1st August 2022. Fellow countrymen and women, the people of Uganda have for many years been irritated by the brazen rigging of elections by the Museveni regime. The past 5 general elections have been far from free and fair. At every election cycle, Museveni and his small clique of henchmen have continuously usurped the will of the people of Uganda, aided by the military, the Electoral Commission, and all manner of state apparatus. The judiciary, which should ordinarily dispense justice in election matters, has not done so because it is equally under capture. Be that as it may, the various political parties and formations have continuously participated in these elections because of our firm belief that democracy and the rule of law are the most ideal means through which we can have a peaceful transition and change of leaders at the lower levels. Unfortunately, the quality of elections has now gone from bad to worse, each election being worse than the previous one. Mr. Simon Byabakama's Electoral Commission has proved itself to be the worst in the history of our country. The rigging and open-day thuggery, as exhibited in the by-elections of Kayunga, Omoro, and Soroti, is now done with so much boldness and ridiculousness. This demonstrates the crisis at hand. Among others, the three by-elections have been characterized by the following. 1. Kayunga. The Electoral Commission in Kayunga supplied pre-ticked ballot papers to regime operatives. They arrested over 100 of Honorable Harriet Nakwede's polling agents and supervisors the night before and on election day, in the hope of carrying out ballot stuffing undeterred. Robin and Abanja went on a bribing spree, some of which you members of the media captured. Despite all the ballot stuffing and violence, Honorable Harriet Nakwede emerged winner with a difference of over 15,000 votes. Shamelessly, the Electoral Commission announced the NRM candidate winner without any results. Contrary to the law, the Electoral Commission refused to hand over a copy of the tally sheet, relied on to declare results at the tally center because there was none. They gave themselves several days to doctor both the tally sheet and the other forms. Recently, the regime has ensured that the election petition in Kayunga is dismissed on the most ridiculous grounds. The will of the people of Kayunga was usurped. In Omoro, ladies and gentlemen, the regime took advantage of the poverty-stricken population and engaged in open bribery with items like soap and maize flour. Some people were bribed with as low as 2,000 shillings. Early morning on voting day, regime operatives working with crime intelligence moved from polling station to polling station, arresting Honorable Tolit Simon's polling agents and supervisors. By the end of the day, over 60 polling agents and supervisors out of 84 polling stations had been arrested, with the majority of the polling stations not manned by the polling agents assigned. The regime had a field day staffing. A man called Moses Kalangwa and other thugs took over the election. Yet again, the Electoral Commission had supplied pre-ticked ballot papers to regime operatives who transported them in vehicles without number plates. Whoever questioned the open day thuggery was quickly arrested and detained, including members of parliament and other leaders. Hundreds of people were ferried from neighboring districts to participate in the voting. Despite a very low turn-up in Omoro, the Electoral Commission gifted Mr. Andrew Olanya with over 14,000 votes, and the Electoral Commission refused to avail copies of the tally sheet and the other forms relied on to declare results within the time frame within which one could lodge an election petition. The third instance is Soroti. As we all saw, in Soroti, police and the military spent the night prior to the election raiding homes of Honorable Moses Satan's polling agents and supervisors. FDC leaders, including the party president, were arrested and detained in Dokolo and other districts. The Electoral Commission yet again supplied regime operatives with pre-ticked ballot papers in favor of the NRM candidate, many of whom were caught red-handed by the ordinary people and were restrained by the police. Vehicles without number plates were deployed to transport pre-ticked ballot papers in Soroti. Every leader who dared question or deter the ongoing ballot stuffing was quickly arrested and detained. Some polling stations were closed before time and all voting materials confiscated by regime officials. At other polling stations, the residue of ballot papers after voting were collected and ticked in favor of NRM Zariko and thrown into ballot boxes. No tally sheet before the sham counting could start. At the tally center, several false results were read and no tally sheet was provided to back the results. The Electoral Commission yet again conspired with the regime to rob the people of Soroti of their victory. These are just a few of the numerous violations. Now, therefore, we, the undersigned leaders, the leaders who are here, on behalf of our respective political parties and formations, recalling the sacrifices of our people over the years, including the thousands of Ugandans who died in the war that General Museveni led, claiming to fight against election rigging, do hereby make it clear that we shall not watch on as General Museveni, aided by Yawakama, Nabanja, Todong, Tango Doi, and their ilk, to continue to hijack the will of the people with impunity. The what can they do attitude must stop. Elections must be free and fair, short of which they are not fit to be called elections. Going forward, we shall jointly or severally use any upcoming elections to organize and rally the population to defend their democratic rights and end the election madness that has bedeviled our country since independence. The current mega socio-economic crisis is directly related to the population having no say on how their country and her resources are managed. It is therefore urgent for the country to focus on how to get out of the current crisis and to procure a transition to an inclusive and democratic dispensation. I thank you very much.
Thank you, the Secretary General of NUP. We will now have the leaders signing the joint statement.
There are three copies, so, but I have more. There's 8 here. If I can provide that. Each one. Okay.
We will have this statement signed. There are enough copies, and then we will get the party leaders to sign each of those papers that will be circulating, and then we'll make copies and distribute to the media. So right now we'll be witnessing the signing. So each leader will sign, and then they will keep exchanging and signing. So when that has concluded, I will then invite the leaders to make comments. I want to welcome the Speaker of Kampala City, who is also with us here. So the next activity will happen after the signing, which is now taking place. I think we are just 1 minute away from concluding the signing. It appears to me that the signing has been completed. We will make copies and distribute to you, the media, after the briefing. And I'm going to start from my right. We will have the FDC making brief comments. May I now invite the FDC Deputy President, but also at this function, acting as the President. We have two Vice Presidents here, the Honorable Nzo, and I want to invite the FDC Chairman. The three of them will come here, and on behalf of the party, the Lord Mayor will make, the FDC Deputy President will make very brief comments, and then we'll be inviting the rest of the party leaders. So can we have the FDC?